Let's talk a little bit more about Brighton, all right? So it's been a couple of days, and the fallout from this game has been dramatic. Like, lots of things have been said about the way Arsenal and Mikel Arteta won the game. Fabian Hürzeler, he'd already sort of taken aim at Arsenal pre-match when he spoke about the time that we take and the methods we use at the set pieces. Like, it's sort of that thing, getting into the refs' heads a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then after the game, they really sparked fire, and everyone's been chatting about it. And he said lots of things, and he acknowledged, of course, that there are different ways of winning, and that every team wastes time in different ways to gain an edge. But like, this is what he said. He said they make their own rules, meaning Arsenal. They make their own rules. At the moment, I have the feeling they're doing their own rules, no matter how they are playing. Overall, like I said, I will never be that kind of manager who tries to win in that way. He added that only one team tried to play football, and that the Premier League must clamp down on this kind of behaviour, particularly in regard to David Raya going down injured 3 times during the game. We kept saying, he was like, have you ever seen a manager go down? He said, have you ever seen a goalkeeper go down 3 times in the game? I'm like, yes. Yeah. But he kept going on and on about that. Mikel responded fantastically. This is what Mikel said.
I mean, what is your reaction to what he said? And specifically, David, was he...
What a surprise.
Would you like to expand on that?
No.
I love it. It's like Heisenberg. He's like, what a surprise. Yeah. Say my name. I loved it. Listen, everyone's been chatting about it. My view, really, is that I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah. Right? Because I think it's fair enough, right? The football, at times, is not particularly fun to watch.
No. Yeah.
I don't care. And I think if England win the World Cup and Declan Rice and Saka are throwing corners in and we're scoring from them and we win the World Cup and it's a bore fest and, Pickford's going down 3 times in the game, no one will care.
I won't.
I don't want to watch that kind of football forever.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But if we win the league this season and there's a few games that this has happened, I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Can I just do some stats for you, right?
Yes.
Because the thing is with it, like there is some truth of what he's saying, but also like a lot of the stuff he's sort of getting wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Because taking all the delays into the account, Arsenal have spent an average of 31.4 seconds to get the ball back into play from corners, goal kicks, throws and free kicks in the game against Brighton. There have been 195 instances of a team taking longer than that in the Premier League this season. Of those 195 games, Brighton actually account for 3 of those games against Man City, where they averaged a 38.7 second restart and a delay, and against Chelsea and against Brentford. And another fact I wanted to read out to you was that Bournemouth, 352, are one of the 2 teams to commit more fouls than Brighton, which is 351. So those are the teams that commit the most fouls. Yeah. So you are going to get more restarts when you're being fouled lots.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're completely right to get those stats out, because I think that ultimately, when you actually dig into what's happening here, when you look at the stats and you look at the stuff that Opta's released, it's basically saying that every team in the league is doing this at different points. There was like hundreds of games that had teams take longer to take restarts than Arsenal did in this game, in this Premier League season alone, right? But I'm not going to sit and say that Arsenal don't at times delay and don't at times waste time. They do. Everyone knows that. But every other Premier League team does. What is actually being said is that Arsenal are doing this and they're winning.
Yeah.
That is ultimately all that's actually coming out of this. Yeah. And that ultimately is a good thing. We want to be winning.
I think what we saw with Fabian was complete head loss after the game. He's petulant, he's childlike, he's youngest manager in the Premier League. So sometimes it's going to be expected, but it didn't take into context game state. Now, we went ahead after 9 minutes.
Yeah.
We will be deemed to look like we wasted a lot of time because we are leading a lot. We spend a lot of games, more than the average team, leading games. I think
Man City have only led games more than we have this
season.
More
than we have. And what happens in that, we do, don't get me wrong, one thing I will say, we do take too long with corners, but we score from them. So that is part of a tactic. If the FA or the PGMO want to come after us for taking too long with corners, fair enough, but we score from them, so, that's somewhere we've taken an advantage. But when you go ahead in the game, it's human nature to protect what you have.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially if you're the team, like you just said, and the facts you stated, that are fouling the most. So a lot of those, the restarts was causing a lot of the delays, which was down to what your own conduct. I feel like if he reflects Fabian, which he doesn't look like a man that does, he may see it very differently a few days later. That was in the heat of the moment. I'm not going to give him any sort of credit because he's not deserved any from his.
And he also set it up, right? He talked about it before the game.
This is the other thing. We said it on the pod the other night that he set up the fan base because we were even, as Arsenal fans, we were sitting there watching, are we taking a bit too long here? Because the crowd are on us. The crowd are on us every single time we take a goal kick.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. We weren't taking too long goal kicks. That was something he created. He created this frenzy and then he doubled down after the game because he lost. You look like a spot little brat, mate.
Sour grapes.
Yeah.
Sour
100%.
grapes. And a lot of the times, I think we had something like 14 goal kicks.
Yeah.
And that's because you shot off target. And if David Raya is going to take a little bit longer. I mean, we've experienced it over the years, especially under Wenger. A lot of times, you would see teams time wasted.
Yes.
Because that was a way to get at Arsenal.
I mean, still now at the Emirates, if a goalie takes more than about 3 seconds, the crowd are on them.
Of
It
course.
is just part of football heritage.
And I can't deny that I've sat there in the ground and gone, God, this is annoying. I've
Yeah.
paid so much money. And I'm seeing Newcastle. Newcastle were so bad at Eddie Howe, because that was a way to get at Arsenal, because Arsenal wanted to play football. And okay, maybe Mikel Arteta's gone, actually, that seems quite a good little tactic within the rules, a way that we can gain a bit of an advantage. And that's what he's always about, is gaining a bit of advantage. And it's worked. I don't want to see it all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't mind too much right now.
But I think I completely agree with your point about you don't want to see it all the time. But I think the problem stems from the fact that Arteta, he said this openly in interviews, and it's been seen by what he does. He wants to control and be the best at every single part of the game. Right? That's what he said. Now, how that is manifesting itself at the moment is that we are being the best at basically every part of the game, apart from the attacking part of the game, where I would say potentially City are probably being the best in recent weeks. And that's not, I think, because of lack of intent. It's because of lots of different factors that means it's just not clicking in these last few games for whatever reason. So ultimately, I think there is ultimately a slight intent of trying to do these time-wasting tactics, trying to make the game stodgy. But I don't think that is the game plan. The game plan is to do that at times, and at times it's to be free-flowing and attack, but that time's just not clicking. So I think what I hope for as a fan, we all hope for the fan, is we keep doing this stuff really well. The attacking side of the game gets better. We start scoring more goals, and suddenly, it becomes less of an issue because the whole thing's then just working together.
I would also say, though, some of the throw-ins isn't time wasting. I've seen it in games where we're not leading.
There's not an option.
Just take it.
Not an option is a massive thing. The amount of time the players are standing there to take a throw in and they just have no one to
So what, are we supposed
to
to just turn over possession because it looks a little bit rude because we're taking too long? I think
rude.
You said it the other night. City at Forest, man. The other night encapsulated for me the whole season. City at Forest, they had 7 or 8 shots on target during the goal. They were really good, expansive football. They drew 2-2.
Yeah.
We had about 2 shots on target, barely created a thing. We won the game 1-0. Yeah. That's why we're seeing the games play out the way we're set. Because if we open up, if we then do go into third and fourth gear offensively, that's where the gaps are created. And City have conceded so many goals from very dominant positions because it comes with there is the other side of it. There is the other edge to the sword.
I think you're absolutely right, and this really leads into this in that it took Arsenal 30 minutes and 51 seconds to restart the play against Brighton, which is our highest total this season, which is maybe a little bit of banter from Arteta. He's just like, we take too long. Watch this. But we've exceeded 30-minute delays in one other game this season. That was the 1-0 win against Fulham in October. Last season, we drew both of those fixtures 1-1.
Yes.
This season, we held on for 1-0 victories. Now, I know it can't always correlate directly from one match, but there is a slight advantage that Mikel has found.
Definitely. And I think, ultimately, we have spent such a long time with everyone saying that Arsenal are too soft and they play good football, but ultimately good football doesn't win the league titles. I mean, I was 6 years old when Arsenal last won the Premier League, right?
Wow.
So I've spent... No, but the reason I raised that, right, is that I've spent basically my whole life... I remember that 3 or 4 season, but not vividly. Yeah. So I basically spent my whole life following Arsenal with this narrative of the majority of the Wenger years of playing really good football and never really winning anything. So why am I going to sit back as an Arsenal fan now and be annoyed or upset that Arsenal aren't playing as pretty football as they might have done over the years, but they're actually winning matches.
But the thing is, it wouldn't matter if we were fifth. No
Yeah.
one would be going on about it.
No.
Yeah.
It's because we're top, because we're on for a quadruple. You know, I remember when Man United were winning all the titles. We hated them. Then Chelsea under Mourinho.
There is a massive problem with football discourse anyway because of social media where it's become super reactionary. So these opinions change week to week. No one was saying this when we beat, not long ago, when we beat Leeds or when we beat Sunderland. There was none of this
There's
talk.
no mention of it, is
No
there?
mention
Yeah.
of it. What I want as well, people, I don't think one thing has not been discussed. I've not seen a lot of it. What we've seen under Arteta is many different iterations of an Arsenal Football Club. We
Yes.
saw in 22-23, we saw the fluid, the combinations, the exciting, expansive play, which ended up causing us to come unstuck towards back end of the
Yeah.
season. We've seen a more resolute and a more dominant style of play. We've seen him play free at the back to win an FA Cup.
Yeah.
And we've seen this side evolve. We're in this is another phase of the Arteta Arsenal evolution. We won't be the same. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. Once we win a title,
100%.
we will not be the same. The team will be released from the shackles. But this is 22 years of hurt. And it means so much.
Yeah.
We can feel it. We go to the stadiums, it's palpable in the stadiums how much this means. Do you expect the players to go out there and just express themselves? Is that a normal sort of a request or sort of like, is that what you expect of yourself? And an expectation.
Yeah.
It's not, is it?
I think that point can't be understated. Like what we're seeing right now is, I think, the result of a team that's worn the pressure of trying to win a title for the last 3 or 4 seasons and has failed in different times over those seasons. And it's now just weighing on them that they have to get over the line. And when that pressure is on you, you do behave differently and you do whatever you can to get over the line. And I do think, as the whole team, as I mentioned before, they want it to click more attackingly. They want to score loads of goals. They want to be free-flowing, but that is not working at the moment. So they're just finding another way to win games. And I think that it should be celebrated more than anything.
I have a concern that it's going our way at the moment.
Yeah, and that is valid.
And I worry that, when we went 1-0 up, but in those games with Leeds and Sunderland, it felt like we were starting to find that sort of free-flowing football again. And then we had a couple of bad results, and then it feels like they're like maybe ultra safe. But that's why I feel like actually, we have been so lucky with the way the fixtures have landed this season. But with Mansfield tomorrow, then with Leverkusen, you've got 2 games where the fun club can come back out again, and maybe that will feed into the Premier League.
Oh, 100%. I said that with Mansfield is, I don't want to count my chickens, but Mansfield is something that should be routine. But with Leverkusen, they're an ideal sort of team for where we are right now. They are nowhere near as good as us. They have a lot of respect for us as well. I've heard their manager and a lot of their players coming out and saying that there's going to be that fear factor. It's an opportunity to go and flex your muscles, start expressing ourselves. And we've got now a cushion to be able to do that, and we'll have performances under our belt. So you may see a different level of performance, but I don't care as long as we win.
And the thing is, we were complaining about the amount of time wasting we were doing at Wolves, and actually it sort of felt like it worked against us because we didn't go and get the third. Even in the first half, I know we did go 2-0 up, but in the first half we should have been 2 or 3 or 4-0 up, really. And it felt like actually I hate that word, but it is that sort of handbrake. But maybe, Rory, you're right. I don't feel like the players... I don't feel like they're out there playing and then going, "Oh, I've got to be careful, got to be careful." I just don't feel like that's. I think that's us. But I don't know. I don't know what you think.
I think ultimately the players are trying their best to implement Arteta's game plan, as I said, which is to be the best at everything. But once you get into the game and the game starts happening around you, plans change and they react. And maybe the issue is more the fact that, their first instinct is then to retreat inside themselves when things go against them. And that's maybe the thing that needs to be addressed. Because I do understand your kind of nervousness around being so close in every game. It does feel like it takes one mistake, one little moment, one bit of quality that's then going to lose you a game that you were managing well. And I don't think that this is sustainable, certainly in the long run, maybe even for the rest of the season. Hopefully it will be enough for the rest of the season. But I agree with you, Johnny. I think we'll see a different Arsenal next season, regardless of what happens. But I do think that, I don't think the plan is to bore our way to the title. I think it's just the way it's manifesting with the circumstances.
And it's personnel. You know, like the two games where we started to see the free-flowing football again was when Havertz was starting up top.
Yes.
And when Havertz came on, you know, in the game against Brighton, we started to control the game.
Yeah,
the last 20 minutes
100%.
of the game, we were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
Havertz pressed really well as well. I thought that got missed.
And we've still got no Odegaard. You know, like as much as I love Ez, and after the North London derby heroics, you know, you're desperate for him to play, but we're not seeing that Havertz, Odegaard, Saka. And you know, talking about you were saying about 2 seasons ago when we scored 90 odd goals.
Yeah.
That was those three.
Yeah. For sure.
And I keep saying Odegaard, in terms of the way we're playing now, we have to play now. He's so important for knitting everything together in terms of taking responsibility as well. It's not just one thing being technically gifted enough, which Eze definitely is. He's someone who actually wants to take responsibility and wants to roll his sleeves up and say, I'm getting on the ball and I'm going to dictate the play. This is where Odegaard, and he will come in clutch for us. I'm almost certain of it in the running, like his national team coach has said. But also, I want to go back to, we were talking about the psychology of these things. I remember 2014 FA Cup final, we went 2-0 down, right?
Yeah.
We hadn't won anything for 8 years. That had been a big, at the time, you're talking about now and we've been called the bottlers we were getting called a similar thing back then. For 8 years, we've not won a thing.
Yes.
Wenger, all this brilliant play. And that game summed it all up because sometimes you've got to go through hardship. The players went 2-0 down to Hull.
Yeah.
And we needed a miracle.
Yeah.
And then we win and go on and win another 4 FA Cups
Yes.
off the back of it, or 3
Yeah,
FA Cups off the back of it. But sometimes I feel like you've got to go through this pain
100%.
and it looks like turgid and it looks
Yeah.
intense and it looks like, oh my God, these boys can't cope. You got to break through that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're literally seeing that now. If you see it as that was a microcosm, that FA Cup final 2014 of what this running is probably going to be like
And
until
the
we have a
semi-final
real
of
breakthrough.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
It was against
100%.
Wigan, and it's like I think
Saka's goal.
Saka in that, like, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, it was literally gifted to us to win. You know, in the standard of teams that we had.
Yeah.
It's our heritage.
It's our heritage. But you're right, it's getting that first one. Because also, then the noise quietens down. You know, all this
Yeah.
discourse that's been over the last couple of days. If Arsenal, you know, no one's talking about the fact that City bottled 2 goals against
100%.
Nottingham Forest, who have been shit.
Yeah.
Like, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've won titles.
Well, yeah, I think if Arsenal win the league this season,
God help you, lot. Honestly, God help everyone.
but I can see basically one of two things happening, right? Either what Johnny says, where it releases that kind of monkey off the back and Arsenal then click into being a winning machine, and over the next few seasons we see Arsenal win more and more. Or you kind of see a little bit of what's happened to Liverpool this season, where the kind of pressure release and the fatigue of it means that next season actually becomes quite difficult.
I can't see that happening because Salah had a monumental season last year, and that's what you're seeing with you know, his drop off. And I don't think he works in slots sort of because he needs someone who can go and defend and slot, and Salah won't. And I also think Van Dijk can have 2 or 3 dodgy games in a row.
Yeah.
Where I don't feel like, if you look at our squad and the you know, the age profile, the age profile of the squad, we're you know, we're a young team and everyone's signed up. I hear what you're saying, but I just don't think that will happen with us.
I think everyone's going to be knackered anyway because it's a World Cup summer.
Well,
but
yes.
I agree there is a potential for that. But this is where Arteta is very good. He's very forward thinking. We're going to have a little mini revolution this summer, regardless. And I feel like he is aware of the fact that Rice will not be able to put in that level, but he won't be able to play 60 games again next season at this level.
Particularly after the World Cup.
So exactly.
Also, like there's a wider conversation at the moment about the watchability of the Premier League, and they're looking in, you know, the International Football Association's board, or the IIFAB, are looking at sort of doing some rule changes. So I think it will be interesting. I don't mind sort of like, you know, a stopwatch on goal, you know, goal kicks. That can take a little while. You know, a little countdown, so you don't take too long with that. I don't mind that sort of thing, but I think it's going to be quite hard to police a lot of it.
I also think that there's a balance to be struck on this, because part of the kind of academic thought for the clever people, not us, sorry, around this is that a lot of the pauses are because the extra pauses and time wasting is because players are so tired because they're playing so much football, and it's to try and keep them fresh and make them at their best when the ball is in play. Yeah. So if you start reducing the amount of time that can happen and force the ball to be in play ball, which I can be sympathetic with from the point of view that it's better for fans, you're just going to force the players to be even more tired at the same time as you're forcing them to play even more football, the extended World Cup, the extended Champions League. And ultimately, it goes too far eventually.
Of course, and this is what we're talking. We're talking about an extra 5, 10, 15 games. If they start cutting out the delays in the game, at the moment we're playing what is averaging about 60 minutes a game, and they want to probably get it to around 75 minutes. Across a season, they're talking about another 10 to 15 games for the players in terms of running and everything else. That isn't sustainable either, unless we're going to have 50-man squads like in like NFL.
Or the pace of the games drops because players can't go at the same intensity as they have been.
Yeah, so there is a reason for it. I think this has happened naturally, like you say. Players need breathers. The game is so intense, and I mean, I saw something the other day. Phil Neville and a couple other people speaking about at the end of the 2016-2017 season, saying that the game was unwatchable then. So this is where we always look back with rose-tinted glasses, saying, I can't watch it, it's horrible. Same season Conte won it with Chelsea. Oh, I can't watch it, it's horrible, da-da-da-da. You sometimes, firstly, you do get lulls. Secondly, people are very nostalgic and they romanticize the past. I'm telling you now, the level, and it may not, maybe we haven't caught up as fans, the actual level of this football and this league at the moment is miles ahead of everywhere it's been. This is part of the evolution of football. It will start becoming pretty people become more educated to what they're actually seeing, and we'll start understanding the game a little bit more. But we're talking about some very well prepped teams.
And look at the Premier League overall. We've got there's a title race. There's 5 Champions League places that there's, obviously Arsenal and City have got them, but there's 4 other teams trying to get into that. That's interesting. Wasn't like that last season. You've got a relegation battle between 4 teams. Like this is an interesting season 100%. With 8 games to go.
And I think all this is part of the Premier League psychodrama, right? We always say, when I try to explain the Premier League to people who aren't that into it, I say it's the best soap opera in the world. The narratives are crazy. It's like watching EastEnders in real life. Arteta being a villain because his team played like this, it's just all part of the story. It's all part of the narrative. It's actually, this sort of stuff is what makes the Premier League great. It is these stories. It is these people.
It's good to have.
It is good to have. So I do think
we'll be the bad guy. We'll be the bad guy.
For the sake of everyone else, we'll be the bad guy.
Talking of villains and people that I didn't get a selfie with, we were talking about Pierre Hincapie earlier, and I love him so much. Another moment, I don't know if you saw this, there was this clip of where Hürzeler's going, fucking play football, like that, and like Hincapie. It's not, I mean, like, if I was giving him acting notes, right, I would have rather, because he turned down and he sort of turned around and shushed him, but it was sort of like, I wish he'd sort of turned around, looked him in the eye, and said, "Shut up, motherfucker," and then threw the ball on. So that was a lovely moment. Now look, we're 7 points clear. Okay, we have just one Premier League game between now and April the 11th. That's 5 weeks' time. So within the next 5 weeks, we've got one Premier League game, and where we host Everton. We are in such a good position. The fixtures have fallen beautifully, and they've fallen awfully for Man City. They've got Newcastle away, which I think they're going to rest a lot of players, because I think if there's one that they'll let go, it's that one. Because you don't want to be going up to St James's Park with a slugfest, and then before they go to Real Madrid, then West Ham, and West Ham are back in a little bit of form.
Fighting for their lives.
Then they've got Real Madrid again. Then they've got us in the cup. Like, those fixtures are awful for them. Like, it's all there, right, Johnny?
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I feel like you say about things at this stage of the season, I noticed with Liverpool, and they've gone for the quads a couple of times in the last 5 years, things have to get sacrificed. I was at the Liverpool-Man City semi-final when they were going for the quad, and I think City beat them. And you could see the players at sort of 60 minutes realise, you know what, we could either really put in some effort here and go for it and try and maintain, this push for the quad, or we could sort of give up. And you saw it. Like, you have to make big decisions at this part of the season. I hope we don't have to. You got to go and win the Carabao Cup final, but, the FA Cup may, at some stage, I'm prepared to at least say, I'm not greedy, say, all right, if we got a Newcastle away and it's before a Champions League quarter-final, Jesus, I'd say leave it. So we don't go for it like that.
Well, we've seen before when, we've overstretched ourselves in competitions. Listen, after the break, we're going to look ahead to Mansfield Town. So it's the FA Cup back tomorrow. Love the FA Cup, right? Can't believe it. Johnny just wants to throw it in the towel. Right? It's Mansfield Town versus Arsenal, 12:15. proper early doors. You can't even, the pubs ain't even open at that time. Now, Mansfield Town are one of the 2 League One teams left in the competition. They beat Sheffield United 4-3 in the third round, and then they won away at Burnley last time out. We're talking about how we would just give up one of the trophies. I love where. Oh my God, who are we?
Sorry, I never agreed to this. By the way,
sorry, yeah.
Don't include us all in
It's only
this.
Johnny just wants to give up the old trophy.
It's my
right?
very strange philosophy.
But luckily we got Mansfield Town. So rest all the players. I've been watching some of their highlights. I don't think we've got a lot to worry about. Famous last words. But Mansfield Stadium, right? The Field Mill is the oldest professional football ground in the world.
Wow.
All right, it's been in continuous use for sport since the 1850s. Mansfield have been playing there since, I'm going to look at Finn, 1919. Come on!
Wow.
They actually played quite well against
Yeah.
Burnley. They scored a good couple of goals.
Yeah.
They had a free kick.
Really good goals.
Very Arteta-esque sort of free kick. But I've watched their highlights against Rotherham where they drew 0-0 and against AFC Wimbledon when they drew 2-2. They're not good. Right? They are a team. It's Nigel Clough. He plays 3-5-2. It's centre backs lumping it up to the 2 big lads up front. I think it's going to be a quick passing game from Arsenal, and then I think it's doable.
Am I alone in feeling a bit stressed?
No, sorry. Yes, you are. I'm not stressed.
If I'm sensible and I think about it, we are not the team we used to be.
No.
We are resilient. We are strong. We are well built. We're actually capable of teams lumping up against us. We actually now have the defenders to be able to deal with that. But there's something about going away to a tight lower league stadium in the FA Cup, in the early kickoff as well. For some reason, the early kickoff has this weird thing about it with the FA Cup. We saw Palace lose then or whatever. That just feels cup-setty to me.
You know what? I actually agree with you here. I mean, I don't think they're going to be sort of playing over our press with that 3-5-2 setup. I think we're sensible and we've got enough street wisdom to get through that sort of moment. But at the same time, it's still got the potential for disaster because that would just be so typical this week.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
I
You
think
both
for
feel
me,
wrong.
if I'm level-headed about it and make a sensible position, I actually think will happen. If there's any disaster, it'll be like early goal, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Arsenal are down against Mansfield," and then you win 4-1, 5-1, and it's fine. If I'm sensible about it, but you just, as a fan, you can never quite help but just imagine the worst.
Well, interesting that you're sort of saying that we're a team that can cope with lumping it up to our centre forward. Yeah, if Gabriel and Saliba are playing.
Well, yeah,
because I hope to God they don't play those two.
But this is the thing. I was trying to work this out, right? I tried to put together the lineup that we should potentially play.
Yeah.
But because of the injuries, the defence is quite hard to pull together. Because I agree, obviously, Saliba definitely doesn't play if he's coming back from injury. That would be stupid.
No.
You want to give Gabriel a rest. I definitely want to give Timber a rest because he's looked knackered, and I think he's potentially someone who's really important to us. But with Ben White out,
that's a
with
big.
Ben White's out, and then you've got Hincapié, who would be the centre-half cover, playing a lot of football recently as well, so could do the rest. Lewis Skelly is suspended.
Yeah, I didn't know that you pointed this out. Yeah.
Suddenly pulling together a defence while also resting all our defenders becomes quite difficult.
Because also you're going to want Norgard to play in midfield.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Particularly when you've got Marino and Odegaard out, so suddenly there's less numbers in midfield to rotate as well. So I do actually think that...
I'm going to have to take my boots onto Mansfield Town, aren't I? I know
and
what
Marley
you mean.
Salmon even got sent off the other day, so...
But he's not suspended. He's fine.
But he's available, right? Marley said, not under 21 cards.
But
Don't count.
Arteta's going to be fuming.
Yeah.
For getting sent off with dissent. So he's going to be in the doghouse for a wee while.
I love it when he heard about that. He's like, "What's this? You get sent off with dissent? What is this?" I'm not nervous at all. I'm very, very relaxed. I am just nervous about injuries. That's the only thing I'm nervous about, and I want to make sure that he does. I mean, surely he's going to want to rest everybody. But you sort of say, this is we're not the Arsenal we were. But in the cups, we're fun.
Yeah, we are. No, we are.
I'm excited. I'd like to see Gabriel Jesus start up front.
Yeah. We can rotate the front line.
Definitely.
And
That
we
is the
can-
place.
Madueke on the right.
Yeah, Calafiori
Martinelli
comes-
start, I would say.
Are we overthinking Mansfield a little bit?
I think we are. I ultimately think that is our right as fans.
Nigel Clough is scared the life out of us with his comments, isn't he?
Well, the thing I would say about Nigel Clough's comments, right, is he said he's promised to make the game uncomfortable for Arsenal, as uncomfortable as he can. But at the same time, he's bringing his dog to the match. Like,
Are we taking Win? Are we bringing Win?
Well, that's why I said if we don't bring Win, and if the social media team don't have a picture of Win the dog and Bobby the dog together,
Paw Patrol.
I've lost all faith in them. I've lost all faith in them.
I'm worried about Win.
No,
We haven't seen Win for a long time.
oh yeah, true. Actually.
Do you think Win's run away?
Yeah.
And like they're just not mentioning it because they're worried about any, that Win's bottled it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Do you think Win's
they're-
bottled it?
I think, but then last day of the season, Win just comes running back, Premier League trophy in her mouth.
Lassie style.
Is it a girl, Win?
I
think
always thought so. I'm
As
actually
in
not.
Winona Ryder. Is that it was after Winona Ryder, wasn't it? Or-
No.
I
Have
thought
I
it was-
made that
No,
up?
it's called Win to make
Yeah,
us
but
win more.
I thought we made
Right,
it. Oh,
I'm on
a
it.
Lunatic.
Is Win
Win
the
dead.
dog a girl?
This is what people come to this podcast for, man.
Exactly.
Yes, Win the dog is a girl.
It's named after
That's the
Winona
giggle AI
Ryder.
there.
It's not
is.
Winona Ryder. Brilliant. Okay. Well, also, I was looking at their record in League One. They've won 6 at home. They've lost 6 at home. They've drawn 5. The two.
Try and pick a pattern out of
Right,
that.
the two big lads up front. They got Reece Oates and Will Evans. Right, they've both
right.
got
He's
6
called
goals.
Oates.
Oatesy boy.
Jesus, Oates.
Oates and Evans sound like
Oates-
some sort of detective duo from the 70s.
It is, or an estate agent.
Yes.
or 2 people that Mike Bassett would have picked to go up.
We are
front.
never going to be allowed in Mansfield ever in our life
listen.
again.
I'm excited. I wish I was going. I think they've got 2,000 Arsenal fans that are going. I think
Wow. They'll have a
'cause
lovely time.
that'd be a good time. It's the oldest stadium on the planet. Let's see what happens. Maybe Max Dowman could get a little run out.
legit
He was on the
boys.
bench against Brighton.
For me, I think the plan, given what we've said about the injuries, I think the plan has to be start with not a strong team, not a first team, but like a team. But ultimately, I think someone like Gabriel probably has to maybe be in there.
Yeah.
I know you've just got Madueke in there. You've probably got Eza in there as well.
I really
Blow
don't want
them
Gabriel to
away,
play.
Yeah.
be 3-4-0 up, and then you bring the kids on.
Yes.
One player that we definitely won't see is Martin Odegaard, right?
Yeah.
Because he's missed the last 2 games with a flare up of his knee injury. God, it's been so sad and I've been watching that. I've only seen the first 10 minutes of that Odegaard documentary they put on the website, and it's just like what a player he was. And I really miss the old Martin Odegaard.
Yeah.
The Norway boss Ståle Solbakken has insisted it's nothing serious. He said he's going to be crucial for Arsenal in April, May, and maybe even late March. So. Hopefully, it's not that long.
Does anyone find it strange that he's given a medical report about an Arsenal player?
no.
Honestly, we should hire him as a journalist. He has always got Odegaard's injury information when Arteta never seems to have it. It's about the third time this has happened.
No. Arteta's got them information.
Oh, sorry, fine.
He just doesn't tell us.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
that's
And he
fine.
reads this and he's like, "Oh, shut up! I was not going to tell him that." Now, I briefly just mentioned the Odegaard documentary that is on the new Arsenal app. Okay, because the Arsenal app before was very, very bad.
Oh, it was awful.
And you thought for a multi-billion pound company, that they might be able to have a decent app, right? Now, they've launched it with some very, very sexy trailers. There's all sorts of things. There's Omri having a chat with Declan Rice in a cafe. Mm-hmm. There's lots of superstars in one of the where they've said we're the corner of everywhere.
This
That's
is
quite
lovely.
confusing. That one,
It was a tenuous sort of bit of marketing. It worked because of the timing.
It was basically a corner. They had a video of a corner shop traveling round the world.
yes.
I was quite into it.
Yeah.
I was a bit confused.
I was confused, but ultimately it was just leaning into the narrative.
You probably
right?
needed some mushrooms to fully understand what they were trying to get across. But it worked because of, like you say, leaning into the narrative, the timing of it was executed brilliantly. Had some, once again, the culture club we are.
Yeah.
Some great faces, some great cameos
Asa
in there.
Butterfield.
Yeah.
Trying to get past Gabrielle.
Mahalia, the women, every single woman I know fancies the actor. I'm sorry, the actor, everyone,
What's
every
he
woman
from?
I know.
Bridgerton.
He's not from Bridgerton, no. He has been in, he just finished a relationship with Tiana Taylor. I cannot remember his name, but women love him.
Come on,
women
Finn.
love him.
Who do women love?
Mixed
Don't
race
say
guy.
Luke Kempner.
He's from Croydon. Aaron Pierre.
Aaron Pierre.
Imagine having a name like that as
You're
well.
going to be fancied if you're called Aaron Pierre.
Sure. It just worked, it's going to do numbers, and it's a great rollout. I've got to say, our marketing team and everyone there, big up, because we are so far ahead of the curve with that in terms of our football. every football club is trying to chase us at the moment in terms of our online presence.
But interestingly with it, there was lots of like dropping at midday,
Yes.
all this sort of thing. And I was like, what is it our new kit or something?
yeah.
I'm like, an app?
But also, the app's been updated for about 3 weeks.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the new app for about 3 weeks, and I hate.
Show off.
I hate to break it to you, Luke. It's still really
No.
Oh, you're joking.
The culture side of it is amazing,
Yeah.
and then what they've built is a really good digital media platform, and the content there is fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you want to find how you can enter the ballot for a match day
Yeah.
ticket, or you want to go to the box office to try and get Carabao Cup tickets, or
find
away
your ticket
tickets,
in a ticket exchange. Or...
where the fuck am I going? Like, that part of it is still a
Do
mess.
you know what I do like about it is that it does log you on immediately, because the old one would say, "What's your membership number?"
Yeah.
You put your membership number, and they go, "Yeah, but what's your login for the website?"
Yes.
And I'm like,
am I supposed
"Is
to
that not
remember?
my membership
Well, you
number?"
say
No,
that.
that's different. That's
Earlier I was on and I was logged on. I was like, great. And then I clicked on the one page and it said, can you log on again?
no. Oh God. But yeah, there's a brilliant Martin Odegaard documentary which I've just started watching.
This side of it's great.
Which made me miss him, and I can't wait to watch that. There's also Bukayo Saka has got his own show called The Link Up, and in his first episode, he goes to Abbey Road with Thames.
Yeah. And he didn't know who Celine Dion was, which was hilarious. Like, personally, right? I'm a Jamaican man, right? I
Yeah.
can't remember. Celine Dion is the queen. She's right next to the queen in Jamaica. Celine Dion is like growing up. I couldn't move for Celine Dion.
Johnny,
ballads.
I'm a camp musical theatre man.
Oh, there you go.
Right? She is also the queen.
Yes.
Right? How does he not know?
He would have been raised on CeCe Winans and Kurt Franklin gospel music, to be
Okay,
fair, till he was
yes,
about 22.
yes.
So I give him a little bit of credit there, but no, you got to know Celine Dion. What? Titanic, my heart will go on.
I know.
Oh,
He
my
wasn't
God.
alive.
It just reminded me of that Wayne Rooney tweet when Whitney Houston. Have you seen that tweet?
No.
Oh my God. I can't even. It's so tenuous, I can't explain it.
No, go on.
If you see this tweet, when Whitney Houston died, he wrote a tweet saying, I can't believe she's gone. And then he quoted a Whitney Houston lyric and then wrote some sort of other sort of symbols after it. It was the most random thing in the world. Please, if you can find it. But yeah. Celine Dion is a queen of music. She's an icon. So get to know.
Absolute
Saka.
diva. Come on, Saka. All right. But interestingly, I wonder if Celine Dion knows who Bukayo Saka, because I would judge her if she doesn't know who Bukayo Saka is.
100%.
To be fair. Also, another exciting development is we talked in a previous episode about how the food's changing at the Emirates.
Yes.
Come on.
Because it's not been great.
No, it's not.
Right, they had a 20-year contract, right, which is run out, and the club are going to take more control of managing the concessions. Now, of course, there is only one man we can ask about this, and that is our very own Sam Ashton. So let's have a listen.
Ooh.
As news of Arsenal's new concessions filtered through my algorithm last week, it got me thinking, what can they be doing better? I think it's there on their doorstep. I think it's right in front of them. They've got so many amazing restaurants on their doorstep that I don't know why they're not pulling from them directly. They've got Giant Impression, for example, for some amazing hand-pulled noodles right outside the Emirates. And the cult classic 4 legs cheeseburger available at the Plimsoll Arms, just around the corner by Finsbury Park Station. They're two absolute bangers straight off the bat. They've already got Willie's Pies. I'm fairly sure that Ian Wright had a part to play in that contract being signed. But there's also Max's Sandwich Shop up in Finsbury Park as well, which is amazing. I'd love to see them working with the local community and bringing in sort of like a rotating cast of food vendors every match day. Is that feasible? Probably not. Is this something I would eat? Probably so. Goodbye.
Thanks so much for that, Sam. Like, also, that just made me start salivating.
Yeah,
now I just want to go out for lunch with Sam Ashton. But I think the thing is with using sort of local companies, as much as that is such a brilliant idea, but you've got to scale up.
Yeah,
There's 60,000 people come in.
Yeah.
There's a difference from if you're serving 1,000 people over a day and 60,000 people in half an hour.
Yeah.
There is a West Indian, there's a jerk place across the road from the Emirates, which is brilliant, but it'd probably take a little bit long. I love them down there. It's good food, but it takes a little bit while the turnover. I got to say, the one thing I do like about the Emirates food is the peri peri spicy chips. That's the one thing I'd like to keep.
I've had them.
You've never had them?
No.
they're the best thing. That's the best snack to have watching a game. Like the burgers weren't great, but the peri spicy chips that they do.
Okay.
I'm not buying chips at a football stadium. They're how much? I bet about £7.
They're expensive.
How much money do you have? £7. Honestly, I can't. A football stadium, it's like cinema food.
Yes.
Like, I'm not. But do you know what? Do you know what I do? Eat before.
Yeah. See, my big concern was the guy that sells smash burgers next to the Hornsey Road Tunnel. He does a great trade, brilliant burgers.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Lovely man. And I was like, if
Are
Arsenal
they good? I've never had those.
They are good.
Okay.
And if Arsenal go get new burgers in, he might be losing out. And I don't want that to happen.
When I was a kid, I would get a burger inside Highbury.
Yeah.
Right? It's actually the bit that's still there. When you walk past Highbury, the bit that they've sort of not the front, not the front of the building. There's a bit as you go around the side.
Yeah.
That was the entrance I used to go in. I used to, and I love that it's still the same.
Yeah.
Because I used to get my burger from there, and it was about £3.
Yeah.
You get program £2.
Yeah.
Ticket £10. Do the maths, £15 for a day. Lovely. Right? Now I'm not spending £7 on chips.
I spend a tenner. If we're winning, I spend a tenner on pick a mix in there as well. So I do mental things.
Big weighty fudge.
No, not the gummies and the sour sweets and all of that. Right, it's a lovely second half. If you're winning, to go and get some pick and mix, come back. I'm a big child though.
But I like the idea of getting the food, but you've got to bring down the prices.
Yeah. I think this is. I mean, first of all, like the cinema, I'm very much a bring my own guy. I have been known to bring my own sweets.
I'm an indulgent man.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it, but I also think support. Well, I would have said supporting the club, but apparently they weren't making any money. No. And I think that is the nice part about this, right? If you're going to be somewhat serious about it, is it's another avenue for the club to make money if they take it.
Great. Make more money. Charge £50 for chips.
Well, but this is the point as well. If they're making a higher profit, they maybe won't have to charge as much money.
Listen, what they're going to do is they're going to charge £50 for chips, but it does mean that we can buy Vinicius Jr.
Exactly.
From chip sales.
You do your bit in the merchandise.
Yeah,
you buy the
That's
whole
the
club
point.
shop. So
That's
you're
the
doing your bit anyway. Everyone's just got to do their bit. If it's a £10 pick and mix or an £100 tracksuit top, it all works out the same.
Or the £5 you pay for the pre-season games for the Arsenal app, whatever it is, we're all doing our bit.
We're doing our bit.
Oh yeah. Whitney has passed away. R.I.P. You will live on forever. Can't believe it. I want to run to you. Really can't believe this. @. To no one. He was so fazed by this. He atted everyone and no one at the same time. Mr. Wayne Rooney.
It's just at the world. It's just at the world.